Sharp backstab seems very ferocious. Sharp claws seem to be able to tear apart prey. Huge nostrils seem to show everything. Take a closer look. It was a miniature version of Godzilla. You'd think he was pretty fierce, but in fact, the stab on the back is for bluffing. Paws are for rock climbing. The nostrils are for sneezing. Even the food is vegetarian. This is Helisy, the only lizard in the world that can forage in the sea, usually basking in the sun on the island. The only food on the island. It's the building material of the neighbor's house, but it's not easy to take advantage of. You see, he's cowardly, although they have been neighbors for many years, but they didn't get along, often bullied by neighbors. What's so great? I won't find it myself. I'm Helisy. I saw him leap into the sea. This guy is just on one breath. You can stay in the water for half an hour, but I can't stand the cold water. Neighbors can stay in the water all day, but every time I hold my breath, because time is running out. He has to eat fast. I will return to the ground immediately after eating, otherwise the muscles will lose strength. Very dangerous. Chicken feet can make them hold onto the rock wall. Finally back to shore. Every foraging is like a life and death battle, but they go through this every day, unless they can steal the neighbors. The world under the sea is colorful, at the confluence of the Pacific and Indian Oceans, the most vibrant ocean on Earth. There's a lot of life here. There are weird ones. There are ugly. The flame squid is a very special kind. Males are only 5 centimeters long, walking very slowly. He was originally a master of disguise, but now he wants to be in the spotlight because he's looking for someone. Your spouse is 4 times his size, but bright looks alone are enough. He has to have strength. He put that thing precisely in the other person. Direct and hygienic mouth. If it doesn't work once, come a few more times. This time he finally succeeded. The female crawls into a shell, spit out the eggs immediately. 3 weeks later, the little squid comes out. It's smaller than a human scaffold. A few months later, he can start looking for a partner like his dad. This might be the fastest love in the world. A feast of the sea is taking place in another sea. Thousands of dolphins set out to hunt in groups. They found a cold snap. It contains their food. Sharphorn followed. They know it's the fastest way to get a meal. This school of herring is their target. Dolphins surround schools of fish and drive them away. Form a ball and trap the school of fish at the surface. Stop them from escaping back to the deep sea. Dolphins attack from below. Birds bombarding from above. The speed of entry into the water can reach 80 miles, like a bullet through the water. Thousands of predators in a blink of an eye, held together by strong currents. Sharks also joined the feast, and soon there were very few fish left. Ocean currents are like highways in the ocean, bringing marine animals together. Then leave the scene of the falling car accident. A giant toilet appears on the sea. Take a closer look. It turned out that Booze was actually fishing. He opened his mouth as wide as he could. Wait for the panicked fish to jump into the entrance by itself. This is a time-saving and labor-saving fishing method. That's not how they used to fish. Because of changes in the ocean, that's how fishing evolved. The wastewater from today's agricultural production make this ocean hard to breathe. Many fish have to live near the surface. Only in this way can you get enough oxygen, and the bushes feed on these fish, so he can only live on the water. It takes a lot of energy to power a 15-ton body. The scarcity of fish makes hunting particularly difficult. In order to survive, they have evolved a whole new way of hunting. It's almost effortless this way. Just open your mouth and wait for the rabbit. The other one pushed more fish into his mouth. Acquire new skills. They finally found a way out. It's not just them. Many animals struggle to survive, have extraordinary abilities. This is where the tides are strongest, with the heaviest tides in the world. Underwater current, dangerous. Most animals are afraid to come here, except for this group of surfing experts. Orang ducks are one of the few. Ducks that are completely dependent on the ocean for survival, and the only one. An animal that can live in torrents for a long time. Here are the foods they like to eat. But through the raging current, their bodies are strong, can stabilize the body in the rapids, so they have all this food to themselves. You see what others can't do. If you can do it, you can enjoy the feast to yourself. Compared to the raging tide, life is not slow here, but trouble remains. They dive into the sand in an instant, then disappear. Hobley played hide and seek with the dolphins, but dolphins are not so easy to fool. They can use echolocation. Find out the exact location of the small fish, then stick your mouth in the sand and pull the fish out. Wait until they are full and leave. Xiaoyu suddenly appeared again. Today they got away with it again. There's new life in the ocean. This shark swam to the place where he was born. I plan to have my child here as well. He was swimming. After he was born, he returned to the sea without looking back. Leave booby-trapped. Fend for itself. They walked intuitively through the mangroves, came to a pond, a copy that won't fade away. For the next 2 years, they will be here to fight monsters and upgrade, learning survival skills, eventually become the top hunter in the ocean. Over millions of years, the oceans keep our planet alive, but today's human activities are putting the ocean under threat. Only by stopping the wanton plundering of the oceans, the largest ecosystem, have a chance to restore the transition. The reclaimed land has made it difficult for us. Let him live in the ocean. It is said that people who have been to the bottom of this crater, fewer people than have been in space, but some people are determined to go down and find out. They're going to film an animal there, but the terrain is steep. Periodic earthquakes leave the crater walls crumbling, rolling stones keep falling. It gets looser with each step. It's hard to walk without something, let alone carrying heavy equipment. They must be extremely cautious in their every move. Rocks are falling from them. The longer you stay, the greater the risk. One wrong step can cause the rock wall to collapse. Finally, they reached the bottom of the volcano safely, and the protagonist they were going to shoot was Lulesi. They come here every year to lay their eggs, because it can provide the temperature for hatching. Of course, it will also go through a difficult process. Some will be killed by falling rocks, but it was worth the risk for them. Humans may only go down once, but in order to survive, climb down the crater every year, and it makes me look up to him. In addition to land hunting, there are also sea hunting. They have to brave huge waves every day. It's not easy to photograph them. The bottom of the sea is full of sharp stones. Once swept away by the waves, it is easy to get injured, so they had to go into the water fully armed. It didn't take long for them to find out that it was harder than they thought. The relentless vortex makes it difficult for them to control their bodies. Shot with the Viller, every time I try to film them, they disappear into the waves. Later he found out, highly angsty can hold onto the rock, so as not to be swept away by the sea. Learned this skill quickly, but only one hand can shoot. Fortunately, the water floats. Force can reduce the weight of the camera. Let him capture the sea perfectly. Practice riding the wind and waves. He completed the mission unscathed. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Thank you to the brave photography team. With you, we can understand the wonders of life on Earth.